Wow, that was an abrupt stop.
That was.
I was waiting for number one to come through. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
That's nice. Welcome.
There we go. We're live.
We are
Okay.
live.
Our
Live
second
from the
live,
beehive.
second one, B. Second one.
Yeah. Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, yeah. So listen, yeah, housekeeping to do.
Nah.
So I heard rumor Kevin Albert is back on the job, son.
Well, I heard he was on admin leave for a couple months, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's a
A
small
lot of
department. His brother's on it, and I think his he's got another relative that's on the department too. So they probably said, "Hey, look, he needs his job. He needs his job and his pension. So let's rehire him back and put him
yeah.
back in the corner. Have him file some files for the night for the rest of his career."
Yeah. A lot. There was a couple comments that we read because we read most of the comments as much as we can. Pretty much all of them.
All of them.
Somebody said, yeah, he gets a vacation, a 3-month vacation, blah blah blah. And I can see how a normal person looks at it that way, but in reality, it's not a vacation. When you're being investigated and you're on admin leave, even though you might be with pay, you could be pending termination. And
Yeah.
there's a lot to think about. And considering how big this case is, he was not enjoying himself sitting on the beach, drinking beers every night. He was probably worried about keeping his job and possibly, going to prison.
But you know
So
what though? What does this do to the public eye though? Guy that screwed up this case and doesn't do a very good job investigating. If it was me, I would say you're fired,
yeah,
pending. You're fired. Period. And then they would go to arbitration. But it
right.
shows that the public that the department is doing something. You're fired, buddy.
Correct.
Right. And
Right.
then have it go through arbitration. Now, for arbitration rehires them, then it's on them, right? But
Correct.
that would give a lot more confidence to the public that, hey, the department's got our back.
Correct. Yeah, to me, the proper response would be to terminate him and let him fight for his job back. Prove to us why you deserve to be a cop.
Right.
So you're fired for now. Prove to us why you should be a cop. And until everything sees the light of day in this case, we can't take the risk publicly by hiring you back because it doesn't look good.
Right.
And unfortunately, in this day and age, in the police world, in this day and age, the mob rules. So it doesn't matter what you think; it goes by what the public thinks and perceives. So sometimes nowadays you could get the short end of the stick and that's it.
Well,
Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He does. But
right.
in other cases, you're just crap out of luck.
Well, let me say something on that because, 10, 15 years ago, the department would issue our discipline, right?
Yep.
Now it's the public that demands our discipline, right?
Correct.
Because of social media and whatnot, and a lot of heat goes on in departments. So the public has a lot to say when it comes to a crappy officer or whoever, supervisor, whatever the case may be. But it's not that way anymore.
No.
That really controls what the outcome is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Shalvin, Shalvin changed that case. Mark Shalvin in back east. When he went to prison, the citizens, if he didn't get anything above 20 years, they would have rioted and caused millions, if not billions, in damage. Sometimes it is what it is, man. Wrong place, wrong time, crappy luck.
Yep.
I don't agree with what he did, but that's a whole different story.
So check this out. We're gonna watch Lieutenant Gallagher, right, present his evidence to Lollipop.
Man, we've been doing these videos. We've been doing Karen Reed case for a month, and you still mess up his Lally. Correct them, people. Lally. Say it.
English is not my first language, Brian. Be respectful.
I know. I love you, G. You know I do. Any chance I get to break some balls, I do.
So let me say this. I watched this video and it's kind of slow, right? So, but there's some key points in there that I'll point out for you. You haven't watched.
I have not seen anything from Gallagher. Yeah, this is the one video I have not seen at all.
Okay. You ready?
This should be fun. I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
For an hour? What got, Steve?
I just want to pop in real quick before you start and give a super thanks to, oh, now three. We got 3 super chats, one from Tess. Give us $4.99. She said, our love from Canton. I hope the feds come to save us soon. Thank you guys for everything.
They
The
will.
feds and the DOJ.
We got a 1999 super chat, big one, from Stephanie and Jen, who are the Young Jerk mods. And they say, much respect for you guys. Love, Steph and Jen. Thank you guys so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. We really appreciate it.
She was born in 1999. What was that?
She super chat $19.99.
Let's go.
And just got another one in here. Whoop, from AKA the Cat Lady, $5. She says Canton PD is going to get audited, and they're looking for bids for who can do the audit. That's a citizen-run initiative. Any suggestions?
Thank you, Cat Lady.
The Department of Justice needs to come in and monitor all their policies and procedures.
Yeah, they need a cleansing. They need to go through every case. I mean, if I was them, I would go through every one of Proctor's cases. They need to literally break down everything because of what just happened. They need to go through all of his cases. Because what happens if Proctor has been dirty doing this stuff for years? There might be innocent people in prison. Yeah, all of them. But I'm saying, I'm just using him as an example. He's the lead investigator. What if there's other innocent people in prison?
Yeah.
So if I was the DOJ and the FBI, the first thing I would say is, let's start breaking open every single one of his cases in the past 10 years. I want to look at it. I want to read every single one, all the details.
That's going to be expensive for the taxpayers.
Yes, and that's going to take a lot of time, but you get a lot of people doing it. You knock it out, and you go each one.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, and we got one more super sticker from Elizabeth. And to be honest with you, I don't even know what a super sticker is. I haven't seen that before. So if you guys can tell me what it is,
let alone a super sticker. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Sticker. So yeah, thank you everybody for your super chats. I'm going to pop off the screen, and I'll be back here behind the scenes. If you guys need me, let me know.
All right, producer Steve.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Morning.
Morning.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give the court and jury in the case now and herein should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lally, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you please state your name and spell your last name for the jury?
Yes, my name is Paul Gallagher, last name Gallagher.
And how are you employed, sir?
I'm a lieutenant with the Canton Police Department.
And how long in total have you been a member of the Canton Police Department?
A total of 32 years, 2 years as a permanent intermittent officer, 30 years full-time.
Wow. And you indicated that you
That's a big career.
are a lieutenant, is that correct?
That is correct.
And how long have you held the rank of lieutenant?
I was promoted to lieutenant August 1st of 2021.
What did you do with the Canton Police prior to becoming a lieutenant?
I was the detective sergeant from 2018 until I was promoted in 2021.
And what is it?
So when a patrolman takes an initial report, anything that needs follow-up, the detective sergeant makes sure it's assigned to a detective, usually the next detective working, and make sure that all the steps are taken to manage the cases, to bring it to fruition, if possible.
Correct.
And what is it, sort of, what are your general duties and responsibilities as a lieutenant with the Canton Police?
Currently, I am in charge of internal affairs, background checks, patrol, and I oversee detectives.
You say currently, what was it prior?
I was promoted in 2021. At that time, Lieutenant Gallagher was the lieutenant in charge of detectives. We have since had a change of police, and our assignments have changed.
Now, were you working with Canton Police on the morning of January 29th, 2022?
I was.
And at some point, did you receive a phone call?
I did.
And about what time was that, and who called?
That was shortly after 6 a.m. It was Sergeant Sean Good.
And he he's a member of your department as well?
He's the 12 to 8 supervisor, which our shifts actually run 11:45 p.m. to 7:45 a.m., but we call it the 12 to 8 shift.
And what, if anything, was indicated to you in this call from Sergeant Good?
Sergeant Good told me he was responding to a scene where a party was found unconscious, possibly not breathing in the snow. He stated his name was John O'Keefe. He was a Boston police officer who resided on Meadows Ave. He further told me that he had gotten a call earlier about John O'Keefe not returning home that night. His friends had called the hospitals, then they called the police, then they went out and looked for him, and they found him unconscious and not breathing in the snow.
And based on that information, what, if anything, did you?
I told him I would respond.
Where were you initially responding?
I was initially responding to Meadows Ave. I misinterpreted when he said he was a Boston police officer on Meadows Ave. I thought they discovered him on Meadows Ave.
And subsequently, did you learn a different location and respond to that location?
I did.
What was that location that you subsequently determined was where you were going?
When I called the dispatch to find out the exact address, I was told it was 32 Fairview Road.
And that was from the dispatch, is that correct?
That's correct. It was Officer Dever who answered the phone.
That would be Officer Kelly Dever, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, did you go straight from home to the scene, or did you go stop somewhere else prior to?
I stopped at Canton Police Department prior to that.
And what was the purpose of stopping at Canton Police Department prior to going to Fairview?
I was picking up some winter gear, and I advised Sergeant Good via the radio that all midnight personnel was to be held till further notice.
He was getting a cup of
When you say
coffee.
winter gear, as far as you responding to a scene, what, if any, other sort of equipment did you procure when you went to Canton Police?
It was clothing. I needed a winter jacket, hat, things of that nature. I was responding in my personal vehicle.
And if you know, about what time was it that you arrived on Fairview Road that morning?
I arrived shortly after 7 a.m.
And when you arrived, what, if anything, was it that you observed upon your arrival?
There were some vehicles pulling away, but parked by where the scene was were 3 Canton police vehicles and 1 black Toyota pickup truck that is assigned to our detectives.
And who, if anyone else from your department was there at that time?
When I arrived, the 3 marked units were occupied by Officer Mullaney, Officer Saraf, Sergeant Good, and the Toyota pickup was driven there by Detective Sergeant Lank.
Steve, can you
And
pause that
as
for a
far
second?
as,
Okay. So this guy's got too much on his plate. As a lieutenant, he's in charge of, what, 4 different things?
But it's
That's
a
too
small
much.
department. It's a small department.
Yeah, I get
You
that.
know, those guys wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But when you wear when too many cooks in the kitchen, right? It's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and jokingly, I say, as a lieutenant, of course he got the address wrong. Of course he did.
Yeah.
The higher ups, sometimes not too bright. So, of course he got the address wrong because it's 34 Fairview, not 32. And of course he got the first one wrong. And he went to the police station to get his cup of coffee and probably some food. He wasn't rushing there. And he should have his gear. If you work in a place like Boston, you should have gear in your car.
Yep.
You should have it ready to go. You're a lieutenant in charge of all these things. You should have it in your car ready to go. Because when something happens, you go to the scene because you need to get to the scene very quickly. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, for us, you know, when it's monsoon season, we have our rain gear in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we work. Look, being a cop, you work outdoors. You need to have stuff prepared. You know how many days, hundreds of days I went outside to work in full Under Armour because I don't wear a jacket or anything. And it's going to be 20 or not 20, but 50, 60 degrees. And then it ends up being like 75 and you're sweating. Yeah. But guess what? You got to prepare. You always have to be prepared for what might happen. Yeah, especially if he probably drives his personal vehicle. Maybe, I don't know.
you know?
Well, the lieutenants here drive their personal vehicles all the way up until you get to captain. Once you get to captain, you drive a department vehicle because you are going to respond to those things. And
Yeah.
the stuff and that your gear will be in your car and you will be able to respond appropriately. But this smaller department, again, they're real tiny. So I get it. But I don't agree with it. I get it, but I don't agree with it. Go ahead, Steve.
Copy that.
By the time you arrived, Mr. O'Keefe is no longer on scene, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what, if any, vehicles or apparatus or any personnel from the fire department were on scene by the time that you arrived?
None.
Now, when you first arrived, who, if anyone, did you first sort of speak with on scene?
I first encountered Sergeant Good.
And you had a conversation with him, is that correct?
That is correct.
And who, if anyone else, did you talk to then?
Detective Sergeant Lank joined us as well.
And following these initial conversations with Sergeant Good and Detective Sergeant Lang, what did you do with that?
Once they updated me on the case, we decided that we had to process where Mr. O'Keefe was found. It was snowing heavily. Sometimes the wind was blowing north, sometimes it was south. It was changing directions. And we discussed how to process where Mr. O'Keefe was found because at the time we had no idea how he came to be where he was.
When does that, sir?
And with respect to that, first, as far as where Mr. O'Keefe was, who, if anyone, directed you to where Mr. O'Keefe had been prior to your arrival?
When I arrived and I spoke with Sergeant Good and Detective Sergeant Lank, they updated me on the case. They had told me that Mr. O'Keefe was transported to the hospital, that they were doing CPR on him at that time. They told me that he was bleeding from the mouth and nose and that he may have had swelling above one of his eyes. They told me that they transported his girlfriend as well, and they told me the circumstances surrounding that incident. They told me that at some point after the phone call to the police station, friends, the woman's name was Kerry Roberts, picked up Miss McCabe and John O'Keefe's girlfriend, Karen Reed, and they drove around and they discovered Mr. O'Keefe on the left side of the property. I would call it the east side of the property, unconscious and not breathing in the snow.
Now, this area that Sergeant Good directed you to where he indicated Mr. O'Keefe was, you mentioned that it was snowing heavily at this time, is that correct?
It is correct, yes.
And about how much snow was on the ground in this area at the time that you initially went over there?
I would say at least 4 inches of snow.
Now, with reference to, as far as you mentioned, sort of processing the scene, what, if anything, did you and the other officers do with regard to that scene as far as that was concerned?
So it was a unique scene because of the weather. Sergeant Lank had notified Norfolk County CPAC. He had advised them that...
Sustained.
I'm sorry, can you rephrase the question, please?
I'll just shut up.
So Detective Sergeant Lang had reached out to Norfolk County CPAC, correct?
That is correct.
And what is CPAC?
It's the State Police Investigative Unit of the District Attorney's Office, Crime Prevention and Control.
And
Shorter acronym.
what, if any, as far as that notification is concerned, what is sort of a protocol when you have an unintended death?
So when we have an unintended death, the Norfolk County CPAC unit responds and takes jurisdiction. In this particular case, Mr. O'Keefe was still alive, so they declined to respond at that time.
There may be a term that's pretty well understood, but when you say unattended death, what do
You
you
want
mean?
to pause that for a sec, Steve?
An unexplained death, a person who was alone at the time.
No, he wasn't alone, sir. He was not alone.
You know you got a police officer that's unconscious, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, well, let me say this. In Idaho, right, the state police takes over any major crimes, right? Because they have the resources to investigate, to process evidence better than the local county sheriff's office, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So wouldn't you say, hey, look, I got a cop here I need you to get here to make sure this thing gets processed correctly and efficiently with your gear, with your stuff.
You would
Right?
think so. I
Regardless,
agree with you
if he
100%.
if he's still breathing, I don't care. Bring your guys out here so we can handle this appropriately.
Yep, I agree 100%. Yeah, if you're in over your head and you've never done it, why would you start now with a deceased cop? Now's not the time to start practicing. Oh, what do we do on a homicide scene? That's not the time. You know, this is
Well,
serious business. So if you can't handle it, get somebody who can handle it.
well, that's what I'm saying is that if he's extended himself, why not put the resource in so he can say, hey, look, you guys take that over. I'll manage my guys. You manage the scene. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
all right, Steve.
Of their death.
And so at this point, no one from state police had responded or was responding to the scene at that.
That is correct.
And so what, if anything, did you and the other officers do with regard to the scene where Mr. O'Keefe had been located in the snow?
So we decided on how we were going to process the area. Our concern was there were some light pink spots in the snow, and we thought it may be blood. So we were discussing how to get to that, uncover the blood safely. We decided we were going to process the scene with a leaf blower. I figured we could direct the snow off the area in a controlled fashion. At that time, Sergeant Good volunteered to go get a snow blower. But what I told him in the meantime, I wanted to photograph the area. I wanted all the cruisers away from the house. There was one cruiser, I believe, occupied Officer Sarif directly in front of where Mr. O'Keefe was. I wanted him backed up. And there was crime scene tape set up, and it was blowing wildly in the wind. It was serving no purpose at that time. There were no civilians or witnesses about. And I knew we had two officers who could protect the scene while we processed it. So Sergeant Good, before he left to get the leaf blower, he directed the officers to move their cruisers. I told Sergeant Lank the most important thing he could do at this time would...
The objection is sustained. Move on to your next question, Mr. Lally.
He didn't ask anything.
Now, you mentioned that there was some crime scene tape that was set up around, is that correct?
That is correct.
And how was that accomplished?
Sergeant Good and Mike, Detective Sergeant Lank put out the crime scene tape.
Did you know what, if anything, they were able to use to attach it to in order to set it up around where Mr. O'Keefe had been found?
I believe they used a fire hydrant, a tree, a flagpole, and I'm not sure what else. I don't recall specifically what it was attached to.
Of course not. Why would you look around, sir?
And
you're only the boss.
With regard, you mentioned there were photographs that were taken prior to the implementation of a leaf blower, is that correct?
That is correct.
And I can just ask a little bit about that. As far as the leaf blower was concerned, why was that a decision as far as that being an implement to use in this particular scene?
It was a unique scene. There was snow. I had never processed a scene in the snow. I had seen a leaf blower used in the snow, and it's quite effective.
There you go.
Quite effective at
As
removing any and all
we
evidence.
were on
Hey,
scene
Steve,
with the
pause it.
weather, snow was piling up.
So,
Typical
as you know,
lieutenant,
as you know, Brian, my brother was a Idaho State commander, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And he
High as
works
you
in
can go,
northern.
man.
Yeah, he works up in northern, or he did. He retired. He works up in northern Idaho.
Yeah.
And I called him up after watching his leaf blower action. I said, hey, bro, how would you collect evidence in a homicide in the wintertime when there's, a foot of snow on the ground?
Yeah.
I go,
What did
would
he
you
say?
use it? He goes, would you use a leaf blower? He goes, what? Well, say goodbye to your trace evidence, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I asked him, I said, how would you guys process a scene like this in wintertime? He goes, it all
Right.
depends on the snowpack, right? If the body is laying on the ground, we take Q-tip swabs of the blood, seal it, right? And then he would take buckets, evidence buckets, scoop up the snow around it. and put it in the bucket. So that way there is no trace evidence. If the snowpack was snow below him, they would go just to his body and stop, below his body and stop. No any not go any further, because that's where, you know, he laid it to begin with, right?
Mhm.
So he had a very, very interesting way of explaining to me how you would process evidence in the snow. He goes, you definitely, as sure as hell, would not do it with blower. He asked me if the guy still had a job. I said, yeah, he still has a job. He wouldn't if he was working for me. So that's how they collect evidence.
Yeah, and again, I'm a road dog. The lieutenants crack me up. He talking about the wind and the evidence tape. Yes, sir. I don't know if you're aware of this, but wind blows evidence tape. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares? The fact that he even mentioned, well, the wind was blowing the evidence tape violently, so we took it down. Who cares?
Yeah.
And you should know what's connected to. I could almost tell you in crime scenes I've been to in the past 10 years ago. I can actually physically see it right now of what I attached it to. Those are important things. It might seem minuscule to the normal people, but to cops, it's very important. You should know your scene, because
Yeah.
once you got it locked down, like everything you do is contained in that scene. All the evidence that you're ever going to gather most likely is in that scene, so you have to
Yep.
take it very seriously.
Yep.
You know,
And
but the fact that he's talking about flowing tape, who gives a crap? You know what I mean? So you're going to take it down because I got two guys that can guard it. I mean, whatever, man. Just leave the tape up. Do your job.
Well, you have two guys that are there to protect the scene, but what if somebody pulls out of the driveway and leaves? That's probably a possible witness, right?
Apparently, they didn't even care about the house or anybody inside the houses, right?
Right.
As we're learning going through this, Brian Albert was smart. He didn't he didn't open the door. He didn't let him in. Couldn't risk it. And again, it was a strategic move on Brian Albert. I'm telling you, he didn't open that door on purpose. Okay.
Yep.
Couldn't
I
risk
agree.
couldn't risk the cops seeing anything in plain view that would let them do a premise freeze and get a warrant and come into the house. He could not risk that. That was everything. The biggest thing he had to do, stay inside the house. And that's why his whole story was, I stayed inside the house. And this Lieutenant Gallagher wasn't knocking on his door either. Why would you not knock on the door and say, hey, man, you know you got a dead cop in your driveway or in your front yard? Do you want to come out and take a look and tell us maybe what happened?
Yeah.
No, they didn't even do that. So it's just a typical higher up America. The higher you go, it seems like you lose a lot of your brain cells and you just become dumb.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he found his way to the. I'm surprised he got to the scene so soon.
Yeah,
It only took him an hour. They found him at 6:07. He got there around 7. Took him about an hour.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush to a scene where you have a dead officer. You know.
I need to find out how big this department is. How many officers are involved?
I think 45.
That's it.
It's like half of, like, I worked at Enterprise here in Las Vegas. We had 140 cops in one. In one substation.
Yeah.
So this is like not even, it was like a third of that.
Yeah.
So it's a small place, and I get it, and I'm not trying to break too much balls, but you still, whether you're big or small, you still have to do the job properly.
Yeah.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if there's 2 cops or 1,000,000 cops. The job is the same. The inspection of the crime scene is the same. Everything stays the same. It's irrelevant of how many guys you got. You could still do an incredible investigation with 2 dudes.
Well, and you also have to swallow your pride too. If you need to call outside resources, call outside resources.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing I learned as a supervisor is you got to humble yourself.
Yep.
Humble yourself. You can always learn something. We did training today. I learned a couple new things in training today. You can always learn something.
Yep. I agree. All right, Steve.
And I thought that was the best method at that time.
And prior to the arrival of Sergeant Good back to the scene with the leaf blower, what, if anything else, was done to sort of document the scene at that time?
In addition to photographs, what we did was, I wasn't sure how the roadway ended. I wasn't sure if there was a sidewalk, a curb, a berm, or whether it was just grass, excuse me. So Sergeant Lank and I dug out what I believe is called a 6-inch Cape Cod asphalt berm.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
exposed it so we could get a better perspective of how far Mr. O'Keefe might have been off the roadway.
Might
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
have been.
Okay.
So they don't know. So even he doesn't know, right? He's the boss. He don't know. It's amazing to me they don't even know where John's body was.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. How can you sit there and tell your boss where? I'm going to say, where was the body? If you tell me I don't know, man, I'm going to backhand you across the face. Think about that. Go find out where the body was. Come back and tell me. If you don't even know where the body was, what the heck are you doing?
Your Honor, may we approach this briefly?
Sure.
You could enlarge that just a bit. And Lieutenant, I don't believe that's the first photograph for you, but if you could locate that within
Sure. I believe that's Exhibit 30.
If you could just describe to the jury what if anything, we're looking at in this exhibit.
So that is in front of 34 Fairview Road in Canton. It's looking westerly or the direction towards Chapman Street, and it's documenting the conditions at the time.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lieutenant, at any point, if I ask, or any, this is rated.
Yes.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could have the next photograph, please.
That is simply documenting that the number 34 is on the mailbox. That is 34 Fairview Road.
Do you have a number on that in front of you?
Yes, I do. It's Exhibit 22.
Thank you.
There are two of these, I believe. They're similar. I just want to make sure I have the correct one. 22.
If you go into court, you should know the case.
That would be
You should know the
22,
address.
yes.
Okay.
And what's depicted in that photograph, sir, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of sort of the scene in the roadway when you arrived that morning?
It is. It's the mailbox with the number 34 on it, and it shows two vehicles in the driveway of 34 Fairview Road.
And Ms. Gilman, the next photograph.
Any of those are Fort Edge?
If you could, Lieutenant, when you locate this, indicate which exhibit we're looking at in this one.
That's Exhibit 28. It's
second one
a
might
different
be-
angle of showing the third car in the driveway. I wanted to document what was in the driveway at that time.
Thank you, sir. Next photograph, Ms. Gilman.
Well, that was smart. At least he thought of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Pictures are good, sir. Lots of pictures. Never know what you'll see.
It's Exhibit 29, and basically it documents the same thing. The entirety of the house from I guess it would be a westerly view, and the three cars that were in the driveway at the time I arrived.
And the next photograph, Ms. Gilman.
This doesn't look like a crime scene I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I believe that's Exhibit 31, and it's a close-up of where Mr. O'Keefe was found, and you can see the very light pink spotting that we thought may be blood, and there was an object in the center as well, which we didn't know what it was at that time.
Subsequent, did you learn what that object was?
Yes,
What did you learn?
it was a broken clear cocktail glass, and the pink spot was frozen or coagulated blood.
And the next photograph, Ms. Gilman.
Probably through the back of his head.
Yeah.
That's Exhibit 23. And it's basically showing that the scene was trampled by rescue workers, witnesses, etc. But you can still see, the paint spotting in the area where Mr. O'Keefe was.
That happens.
As far as footprints within the snow that you observed, you indicated that the scene was trampled or walked over by first responders, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the footprint that you observed, what footprints have you, so what areas around where Mr. O'Keefe's, where it was indicated to you that Mr. O'Keefe's body was, were those footprints located?
They were located between the street and where Mr. O'Keefe was found.
And as far as between where Mr. O'Keefe was found and the house or the residence at 34 Fairview, what, if any, footprints did you observe in that area of the snow?
I didn't observe any footprints at that time.
Ms. Gilman, if I could ask for the next photograph, please.
Yeah, no pictures of the body.
No.
Well, somebody commented too. Yeah, no pictures of the body. Why would you not take a picture of the body? That is
Well,
like.
remember, he got there after.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but whoever was there, you take
That is
pictures of the body.
Exhibit 24, and it's showing a westerly shot of the scene. Mr. O'Keefe was found in this area here, and it depicts the wind blowing in that direction at the time.
And about the wind, probably pretty self-evident, but depicts the wind blowing in that direction based on what?
The flag flying.
The next photograph.
The wind's not going to move blood or the body
Hey, Steve, pause it.
or glass. He's really focused on the wind, huh?
Can you rewind it a little bit on that picture for a second?
What'd you see?
Well, remember there's a gate to the back of the house, right?
Yep.
Is Exhibit
Yeah.
20.
Yep.
So right there, that gate right there is what they were talking about, possibly bringing them around the back side, right?
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you really think this lieutenant was really looking for footprints going that direction or anything toward the house?
No. I believe this lieutenant is an idiot and
I think
was looking
he-
for nothing.
He was overwhelmed by what was going on, right? He was more worried about the evidence tape blowing. So,
Hey, he's been a cop for 30 years. This is probably his first murder.
no kidding, right? I tell you what would help here it would have been a drone, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
get an
drones are
overall
great nowadays. Yeah.
picture of from the view from the top
Yep.
down. It could give you so much more information.
Drones are amazing at crime scenes. I agree. 100%. Yeah.
So John O'Keefe's body was located like 3 feet past that curb onto
Yep.
the lawn. That's where
Yep.
he was located at.
Yeah. They
So
said
that's-
he was by the fire hydrant.
That's where EMS came in and destroyed the evidence. And that's why it's so important for the first arriving officer, check for signs for lice, right?
Mhm.
If you can do that. But you have to remember, Karen and her group of friends were already trampling the evidence scene. They were
Yeah.
trampling the scene already to begin with, right?
Right. But
So-
that's because they found him first. Yeah.
Right. So as
And
the
that's-
first
that's
arriving
normal.
officer, you need to document as best you can, and that's why our body cameras really help a lot for us because
Yeah.
it's already running, it's documenting the scene.
Yeah.
But we have phones that have great cameras, right?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many times, hey, when AMR comes in, hey, we got to take him out of here. Man, I would snap a few pictures and send them to my boss as fast as I could, so he at least has them, right?
Listen, when we show up, we're in charge. Period.
Yeah.
So I will tell EMS, you're not going anywhere. Stand by. I need some pictures. This is a murder, or we don't know yet, right? They're thinking it was a murder, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I need to do real quick. Give me 20 seconds. You're not going anywhere. Because
Yep.
that's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Is it normal for EMS to come through and trample the scene and when they get there first? Yes. That happens all the time. But firefighters and the first responders, they're trained to know we try to come in at an angle, right? At like a tactical L, come straight into the body, straight out. You don't walk all over the place. You try when they know it's going to be a big scene, okay, or something bad, let's get in, check, get out. And then after that, nobody goes around the body. I've heard multiple things. I've heard he was deceased when they got there.
Yeah.
I've heard he had, and they had to dethaw him before they can even pronounce him, right? I heard that. Then I heard the theory of what he's saying is he had a very, very, very weak heartbeat, which is possible. So that would start well, you wouldn't need CPR. And so I'm wondering why did somebody do CPR on a guy who's got a pulse?
Yeah.
And if he had a pulse, obviously you're going to pick him up and go as fast as humanly possible to the hospital.
Try to get him stable.
But you're not going to do CPR on a guy who has a pulse.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to go with more likely he was unconscious, thank God for the most part, or all of it, and then the weather froze him, right?
Slowed his heartbeat down.
Yeah, and not only that, I think he was probably deceased on the front yard.
Yeah.
And medical grabbed him, checked for pulse, no pulse, and they whisked him off to the hospital. And once he got to the hospital, remember the phone calls were made, and now we have people in charge. Don't do this, don't do that, do this, do this.
Yeah.
Because now they already know. If they did what we think they did, they already knew everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now is where the cover up starts. Of all right, now we need to start protecting that body.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yep. Absolutely does. Go ahead, Steve.
So, yeah, I don't know why they're doing CPR on a guy who's got a heartbeat.
Before I start back up, I just want to let everyone know who are leaving us super chats. Thank you. We're going to get to your statements and questions at the end, so we're not ignoring you.
Yes,
Exactly.
we're not.
Exactly.
I'm trying to read some of the comments
That
as they
is
go here.
the-
I have a second screen here. I'm not ignoring you people.
I believe it's called a 6-inch Cape Cod asphalt berm that separated the roadway from the property of 34 Fairview. And this is the long look to where Mr. O'Keefe was discovered.
Yeah, the body was positioned
Next
perfectly.
photograph, Mr. Gilman.
Kelly, Zelda Kelly, you're right.
Again, that's a close-up of one of the exhibits we saw earlier. Again, you can see the spotting and the glass here. This is, I believe this is exhibit 26.
So, next photograph, Mr. Gilman.
Yes, Laura J. He was in the house. We know he was in the house.
This is exhibit 27, and it's some, what we believed was frozen or coagulated blood spotting.
Next photograph.
Collected properly.
And that's a different view, close-up of the scene, and that's exhibit 32.
And next photograph, Mr. Gilman.
That's when we first uncovered the berm, the 6-inch berm.
Oh,
And it's just a smaller picture, close-up of that berm. It's
Wow.
exhibit 25.
Looks like venom rolling around in the
Reference
snow.
to the
Yeah.
sort of uncovering of
Pause
the
that,
berm
Steve,
as you
for a second.
described it, what, if anything, did you
So the picture before this that they showed, did you see all the footprints? So our
Yeah.
CSI America in a scene like this, they would take pictures of everybody's shoes. Everybody.
Yeah.
Now I know everybody was in the house, and that sucks. But for here, like they would take pictures of everybody's shoes, the bottom of their shoes, or even a sample of it. So now that they can say, this was this person, this was this firefighter, this was this firefighter, because everyone's going to sign the log, right? We talked about
Yep.
having a scribe. Someone's got to write down everybody was there, everybody's name, the engine number, where they came from. So that's what we would do. We would eliminate people from process from, okay, this is this guy's shoe, this guy's shoe, this guy's shoe. Okay, so now we got 6 sets of shoes. 3 of them are accounted for. Who are the other 3?
Yeah.
And then you take close-up pictures, or even you can't get imprints from snow, but you can definitely take really good close-up pictures. So now you have the bottom of the people's shoe. So now if you're interviewing them, you can say, hey, can I see the bottom of your shoes real quick, please?
Well, the thing is, too, Brian, those pictures right there aren't very good. I don't know if he was using a damn potato for a camera,
Pictures
but those
suck.
are horrible, dude.
They
horrible.
suck. This is 2024. It's like we're watching the Flintstones. You know what I'm saying? What the? You know what I mean? He's taking pictures with a rock.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I said. That's what I said. You'd think, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, a phone would take a lot better pictures than that.
Yeah,
iPhone.
these guys all have probably brand new phones. Well, clearly, Higgins and Albert have brand new phones, probably
Brand new
iPhone
phones are
15s or 16s. Well,
dirty
not 16s, they're
bastards.
not out yet, but you know, yeah, this is. I can't wait to see him collect the blood.
Yeah, good luck with that.
This should be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see you do your job, sir. Come on.
I believe we just used our foot to uncover that.
Yeah, like who can tell what that is? That looks like
I
venom.
believe is the last photograph.
This is the location from the berm to where Mr. O'Keefe was found. It's just a long view, and it's Exhibit 21.
Are they saying that's where they found him at that dot?
Yes. Yes. Tori.
Guy makes like 200,000 a year, Chief. 300,000 a year.
I heard he put his paper in to retire.
As far as
He'll make more retired than both of us combined. And this
Yeah.
is what you get. This is what you get.
the cruisers with the
An
Canton
idiot.
Police Department, what if any sort of recording equipment are they equipped with?
They're with dash cameras, watch guard cameras.
And
Watch that.
or what if anything have you done to review some of that dash camera footage from the cruisers, from that?
I've reviewed all of it.
And specifically, have you reviewed dash camera footage from the 683 cruiser officer, Saros cruiser?
Yes, I did.
And
Come on, Lally. Be ready.
Your Honor, if I may, I would ask that it's already been marked as Exhibit 12. I would ask that a portion of that be played for the jury at this time.
Okay.
Away from the jury? Did he say away from the jury?
I think so.
I don't like how they keep moving the jury out so they can't hear certain
Fast forward
stuff.
this to approximately 57 minutes or so into the
Very clear. I see everything.
Gallagher, you recognize what's up on the
The
screen?
windshield's wiping, but it's
It
not
looks like he went
working.
through Louisiana at 90 miles
That's
an hour.
the
in
video I
summertime
referred of
on a windshield.
Canton Cruiser 683 on, it's dated
Those bugs or
January
snow?
29th, 2022 at 7.
That's snow that the wiper can't even move.
And around this time, within this video from Officer Saros' cruiser, what, if anything, did you observe occurring within that cruiser camera?
I believe it's at approximately 57:17. You'll see Sergeant Good begin to mark out the scene with yellow crime scene tape. You'll see him in front of the
Give him the
cruiser at
crime
first. Him, Officer Mullaney, and Sergeant Lank walk off, and then you'll see Sergeant Good stretching out the crime scene tape.
And if you could, sir, as the video is playing, using the laser pointer that you have before you, just draw the jury's attention to who, if anyone, you observe or recognize within that video.
Yes.
Ms. Gilman, if you could.
Frozen snow. I know. Frozen snow.
See, yellow tape it is.
He loves this yellow tape. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's tape.
Yeah.
There's
Who
two
cares,
officers with
man?
yellow crime scene tape. I believe this is Officer Mullaney, but I'm not sure. I know this is Sergeant Good.
Having a deadly struggle with that tape.
And my apologies, Ms. Gilman. If you
Might
could.
get violent here, people.
He sounds
That's
nervous,
Detective
dude.
Sergeant Lank in the lighter coat, Sergeant Good, and Lank, they walk off camera.
He's using his windshield wiper. Why is there... His wipers suck.
Yeah, they do.
They're horrible. They're missing the whole...
AutoZone.
Yeah. Yeah.
AutoZone, buddy.
Yeah. I've had wipers like that. You're like, how is it only getting an inch? And the rest, you know what? In Vegas, we go through them like at least once a year. Got throw them away after the summertime.
You gotta get melted.
Yeah, the sun just destroys them. Yeah, this is great evidence.
See
It's
Sergeant Good come into the picture right here.
like watching a picture of
Stretching
Bigfoot.
out the crime scene tape. You can see it flapping in the wind there. See it raise way up because of the wind. This is the crime
Comment
scene
about that
here.
tape, sir. Nothing's more important than that crime scene tape, G. You
And
know
I'm
what
not
I'm
sure what
saying?
they affixed it to,
I don't
whether it
understand
was the
why
cruiser
Laylee's
at that
showing
point or
this.
not.
There's no evidence.
But you
value
can
at all.
see the
Shit
crime
about the
scene
tape,
tape
bro.
going across the scene that way.
This is sad.
Ms. Gilman, if you could pause it right there for a moment. So,
Wait, the one
Lieutenant
time
Gallagher,
it actually was going to wipe.
In addition to sort of the crime scene tape that you observed in this video, what, if anything else, did you get from the station to attempt to sort of secure the scene or place at the scene?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Did you get a tent at the station?
Excuse me?
A tent at the station?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
And why not?
I had a tent with me from home. It was a personal 8x8 tent at that time.
My apologies. And so at any point in time on the scene, were you able to set up that tent that you retrieved from your home?
Due to the weather conditions, we did not set it up because it would have required officers holding it down, and we didn't think the top would stay on.
And again, maybe pretty self-evident, but when you say due to the weather conditions, what, if anything, about the weather conditions prevented you from setting that tent up over the scene?
There was high winds, shifting directions, a large amount of snow falling.
Oh, storm.
Ms. Gilman, if I could ask,
Happens on Earth.
Pull forward in that video to about the 1 hour, 7 minute mark.
Oh, he's got the laser pointer.
Yeah, if you could hit play from there.
I could not drive a police car that didn't clean the windshield. Gee, you know how
I know.
anal I was about my windshield.
I know, brother. I know.
Man, I was the only cop who carried Windex and stuff in the car to clean my windows.
Yep.
Because trust me, when you work graveyard for 9 years like I did and G did, you want to see and you want to see
Everything.
very clearly and you want to see right now. I don't want to be waiting about a smudge or nothing. Yeah, I was. And you know what's funny is all my trainees carry Windex for their cars now. I made them a little
know.
OCD.
Crime scene tape that's blowing around.
There he is with that tape again. The tape is the least
Right now you can't
important
see it.
thing. And he has mentioned that the most. Okay? So to me, that's a clue.
Or I cannot see it from here.
Yep. He's not all there when it comes to
No,
how
he's not
Where
thinking
the decision was
what's
made
important.
to take that down, is that correct?
And he's
It
in
was
charge.
later on, I observed the same thing, and I told the officers it wasn't doing any good at that time. And there were nobody to keep out of the scene at that point. It was only police personnel on scene.
Yeah, duh. As a cop should. Nobody else should be in the scene except the cops.
Stop and take it down.
Hey, Steve, I'm gonna pause it for a second.
You're protecting the scene, sir. You're protecting the scene.
You know what? I've been with a couple of supervisors that we've been in a dynamic scene, right? And they
Right?
focus on the smallest thing to keep themselves busy,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Because
Yeah. They don't
he
know
was-
what to do.
he was over his head,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he kept focusing on this specific thing
Yep.
to keep himself busy and look like he's busy to the other guys. Meanwhile, the other guys are running around with no direction whatsoever because they look to him for guidance and he doesn't know what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Right?
minimalizing it to keep himself occupied. His brain. He was probably overwhelmed. It's probably his first murder. 30 years as a cop, and that's your first murder.
Yeah.
I had my first murder, I think, in my first week I was on the job.
Shoot, I had my first murder when I was doing my ride along.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's astonishing how we act and how Metro here in Vegas acts versus how this small Canton Police Department acts. It's night and day, 100% night and day. And it's very frustrating for guys like G and I to sit and watch this because this is so improper. I can't believe that it even exists, that they teach them this.
Somebody in chat said he's probably Barney Fire. He might only have one bullet in his gun. Who knows?
He might. Yeah, I know. Did he say the tape enough? I know that's all he's worried about is the tape.
All right, roll, Steve.
I want to see him collect the blood. He's got to figure that out. Yeah.
To the,
yeah.
I mean, he's the boss.
Of the leaf blower.
Should be flawless.
Was that memorialized in any way as well?
Yes, I had Sergeant Good take a video since we were improvising using something I wasn't familiar with being used before in case there were any questions on how it was deployed. I had Sergeant Good take a short video.
And there's sort of several different short video clips of that process. Is that fair to say?
There's at least one that I know of.
Oh,
may I approach?
One?
Yes.
Okay, let's see it.
He doesn't look too happy there, does he?
No, he doesn't. He looks a little bummed. I mean, my eyes are going, so I can't see that well, but he looks a little bummed. Yeah, because I haven't seen any of this at all, people. I have no idea about anything of this video. But I'm not impressed so far. Especially from a lieutenant. Honestly, I kind of expect
I don't recognize it. I haven't seen this disc before.
Oh, shit. That's Proctor's deal.
Lieutenants here at Metro, a lot better.
And Lieutenant Gallagher, do you recognize what's up on screen?
I do.
And what do you recognize?
It's me operating the leaf blower and at the scene where John O'Keefe was discovered.
And who is operating the leaf blower in these videos?
I am.
And who, if anyone else from your department, is sort of present while this process is going on?
Detective Sergeant Lank is documenting, and Sergeant Good is also assisting.
And Ms. Gilman, thank you very much. If you could just play and run.
See, it removes the
Angela,
snow.
I
I was
agree.
removing the snow layer by layer.
Not
Right
impressed.
here, you can see it exposing the cocktail glass. You're going to see red spots appear as I remove it layer by layer.
There goes every bit of trace
There goes
Big
evidence.
the
spots
key
start
piece
to
of
turn to be
evidence.
dark
Just
red
blew
spots.
away.
I
As
saw
you see,
that.
we can control
Oh,
it.
Karen was innocent. Oh, man, we blew it away. Sorry.
We're concerned
Sorry,
with whatever other.
Oh, hold on and wait for a question.
Yeah, Aunt Bev don't want him babbling, man. She don't want him babbling.
Yep.
And people want to talk.
As you can
When
see,
you're
it
in
just
court-
takes it layer by layer.
Hold on for a second. Mr. Lally,
See?
Ms. Gilman, can you pause it?
You want to talk.
So if you have a question for the lieutenant,
She's protecting him now.
you're asking him to narrate the whole thing. We're not going to do it that way. And you can
Yeah.
pause and
See?
then question. It's
See?
it's great you're keeping your voice up over the sound of the leaf blower, but it's a little distracting.
I understand, John.
So do you have a question, Mr. Lally?
He's saying, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
You're giving stuff away. Shut up. Let him ask a question because he's narrating. When you go to court and you're involved in a critical incident, you want to tell everybody what you've done. You really do. Whether it be bad or good, you still want to tell your story. His was rather bad. But as we can see, he still wants to tell it. So Jackson's like, go ahead, bro. Just keep on.
He's like this. He's got his pin out. Jackson.
Yep, he's writing stuff down. And that's why Bev doesn't want him to babble. When he's babbling, Action Jackson is writing stuff down because he's going to counter with it, and it's going to make him look bad or make him look like an idiot. Not that he already doesn't look like an idiot.
Exactly.
But it's going to make him look worse. So this is
At
ridiculous.
this point, so Lieutenant Gallagher, with respect to as you're conducting this sort of process, what, if anything, are you concerned about as far as throughout this process of trying to locate evidence there?
we were concerned with the weather destroying biological evidence at that time.
And so what, if anything, were you doing with regard to that?
We were trying to take the snow that had fallen over the blood, and we were trying to remove it to expose the blood.
And fair to say, as far as during this sort of removal process, how much of the snow were you able to sort of sift layer by layer with the leaf blower that you had?
We could control how much I wanted to sift. I did it I started out as gently as possible, and if it needed, more snow needed to be removed, I got a little more aggressive.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if you
Oh,
could-
these comments are funny, G. These comments are cracking me up. I know,
Yeah.
first time in the scene in the snow in Boston? Are you freaking kidding me? After 30 years? You've never been in a snowy scene in Boston? That's like us saying we don't know what it's like to be hot. Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
Making butt butter over here.
Yeah, like, come on. It just shows you his mentality, the way he works.
Yeah.
He's gone his whole career without doing anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of cops can skate through that. They get through their whole career without actually doing anything. It's amazing.
They pass the responsibility to somebody else.
Yeah, and to me, they promote too quick. When you promote too quick, you become a boss. When you become a boss after 5-6 years as a cop, and then you do a 30-year career, you're so used to just telling people what to do and doing nothing yourself, you turn into just a crappy leader.
Yeah.
And you're lazy and you do nothing. And after a 30-year career, what stories do you have to tell? None.
None.
How many stories do we have to tell? 1 million. Why? Because we're road dogs and supervisors. Very different. Very, very different type of cops.
Yep.
If there was a war, Gonzo and I would be on the front line fighting right from the front. Lieutenant Gallagher would be 10 miles behind us, sipping a coffee, hoping that the bad guys don't get to him, because then he might actually have to fight. Because you know he can't. Look at him. Just saying. He don't look like a man that can really handle himself.
He can't even handle that fucking leaf blower.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Gilman, if you could play the last video, please.
I turned it on low. G. I put it on low. I didn't use the highest setting. So it's okay. It's almost like they make are making a mockery of this.
Dude, I cannot believe what I'm watching.
It's almost like it's a mockery. It's
Mr. Officer,
disturbing.
you can put the right. Thanks.
Yeah, incompetence at its finest, Julie Murphy. Yes, incompetence
With
at its
reference
finest.
to that process,
100% correct.
How far deep into the snow were you able to go with
Even the
using
leaf
that
blower's
leaf blower
ashamed.
method?
Yes.
We got almost to the ground, bare ground.
As far as sort of a surface area, like how much of that area where Mr. O'Keefe was found were you able to use the leaf blower on?
It was approximately a 6x6, 7x7 type area.
And from that area, what, if anything, in addition to the cocktail glass pieces that you already testified to and the red spots on the ground, what, if anything else, did you observe?
We didn't observe anything at that point. Anything else, just the blood in the glass.
Now, Lieutenant, during the time that you were on scene, with reference to the neighborhood in general, how many people did you observe sort of come out of their house at any point in time that you were there?
I didn't observe anybody ever come out of their house.
And that includes the residents that you were in front of, as well as any other residences along that street, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, at some point,
It's a disgrace.
about how long a period of time, if you know, were you on scene that particular morning?
Approximately 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes.
And following that, where did you go?
We brought the exhibits back to Canton Police Headquarters.
And by that, you mean the glass and what you had collected, the blood?
Yep, we took 6 blood samples, yes.
Okay, and how were you able to sort of collect the blood samples on scene?
Well, the blood samples, because they were frozen, we debated on
Hey.
how to collect it. We
Pause
didn't
it
think
for a sec,
swabbing
Steve.
was going to be,
I want to answer this comment, Brian, and I want to ask you about it. How many times have they called him Officer John O'Keefe? Not once.
Oh, they didn't?
Not once.
I was gonna say, I'm
Not once
I'm
have.
not really
Not
paying
once have they
attention to that.
referred him. Not once have they referred him to Officer John O'Keefe. What do you think that is? Try to separate themselves?
Trying to separate themselves, yeah. Trying to make sure that the jury gets reminded, okay, yeah, he was a cop, but we don't have to say it all the time. You know what I mean? It's kind of a manipulation tactic.
Man, that's weird because she's mentioned that in the comments, and she's right. They don't mention his name as Officer John O'Keefe, just John O'Keefe.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, reminded me when they said they pulled out like a 6x6 area.
Yeah.
Remember in the well, we did the Jen McCabe video. It's coming out next week. She said they had Jackson called her out, and she had, or John O'Keefe, Officer John O'Keefe had 6 or 5 missed phone calls. Right.
Yeah.
At like 6 o'clock or 6:07, somewhere right before they found him.
Right.
And I'm telling you, she was calling him because they couldn't find his phone.
Oh.
They couldn't find John's phone. And she kept calling it because everyone was running around the house and probably outside. What do you do when you call your phone? You listen for it, right?
Yeah.
Where was John O'Keefe's phone?
Under his body. Yeah.
Couldn't hear it. Hence the 5 to 7 missed calls from Jen to John. They never heard it. They were looking for his phone.
Wow.
Guaranteed. 100%. They were looking for his phone, and they didn't realize it fell out and it went under his body. Guaranteed. I bet my life on that.
Damn.
All right, Steve, roll it.
to do if it was frozen. So we decided on finding some type of temporary plastic evidence container. We were able to find large cups, and we took 6 samples. We bagged the 6 samples, and Sergeant Lang transported them back to Canton Police Headquarters.
And what kind of cups were these, sir?
With respect to those samples and piece of glass that you located, eventually, what, if anything, was done with those? Well, first and foremost, when you came back to Canton Police Station, what, if anything, did you do with them there?
Chief Berkowitz was at headquarters, and we had a meeting in the detective sergeant's office.
What I'm asking, sir, is with reference to those items that you took back from Fairview, when you got back to the station, what, if anything, did you do?
Sergeant Lang placed them into evidence.
And then subsequent to Sergeant Lane placing them into evidence at some point, where did they go?
They were turned over on February 1st to the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab.
And was that something where they were driven to the crime lab, or did the crime lab come to the station?
The crime lab was already at the station.
Now, you go back to the police station, you have some conversation with your chief, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what was your chief's name?
Chief Berkowitz, Kenneth Berkowitz.
And following that conversation, at some point, did you return to Fairview Road that morning?
I did.
Okay. And who, if anyone, did you go there with?
I accompanied Detective Sergeant Lang.
And when you arrived, where did you go with reference to residents?
We went into a side door, and there were people in the kitchen at that time. I believe it was the kitchen area.
And did you know any of the people that were in the kitchen?
I did.
Who, if anyone, did you know?
Who I remember specifically was Jen McCabe, who I don't know personally, but I know because that's who Sergeant Lang arrived to talk to, and I knew Brian Albert in a professional sense.
And so Brian Albert is also a police officer, is that correct?
He was Boston police officer, yes.
Now, as far as any other people, who, if anyone else, were you introduced to when you came into the kitchen area?
I wasn't introduced to anybody. All I know is there were 5 or 6 people there.
And are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Brian Higgins?
I am.
And how are you familiar with him?
He is an ATF agent who I've worked with when I was assigned to DEA, and he later had a satellite office at our PD, and I have since come to know him personally.
And in reference to your work with the DEA, how long did you work with the DEA?
13 years.
And so, Mr. Higgins, was he present in the home on Fairview when you arrived there that morning?
I don't recall him. When I arrived originally, definitely not. I don't recall if he was there when we arrived about 9 a.m.
So you don't recall him being there at all?
I don't recall specifically. I never had any conversation with him.
They're tight.
Now,
13 years together. They're
Hey,
tight.
pause it, Steve.
you
They're
had
tight,
made some
man.
mention of,
Remember,
They're tight.
no game Higgy was there at 7 o'clock, right?
Yep.
That
Yep.
family meeting, right?
Yep.
Hey, they're gonna come over. They're gonna come over and talk to us.
Yep.
So
Yep.
let's get our story straight, right?
Did they ever pull his phone? Gallagher, Lieutenant Gallagher, did they pull his phone?
You know what? That's a good question. Probably ask the chat, see if they know.
Anybody in the chat know if they pulled his phone? There was no need to look for the phone apparently in that town. The phone's butt dial everywhere. Oh, Sharply. Oh, you slid off the screen. Can I scroll back? Sharply opinion. That's funny. Yeah. Apparently there are butt dials everybody.
So my
That was a good
question
one. You
is,
guys are funny. Damn.
my question, Brian, my focus here,
Yeah.
buddy.
Sorry.
My question is did they record their interviews over at the house? Or when they went over there, did they say, hey, this is what we know?
I'm gonna
Right?
go out on a limb and say no.
This is what we know so far. So get you guys a story correct, right?
Yeah. No, if Higgins and Gallagher are 13 years, they are tight.
Yeah.
So that leads me to believe even more reasons that he's going to protect them.
Yeah.
And again, that's why he went to the crime. That's why the crime scene was processed the way it was, completely and 100% crappy. That's the only reason. And obviously they're incompetent police officers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the scene was done that way on purpose, people. It was not an accident. It was done. I think it was very strategic.
Really orchestrated, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep. All right, Steve-O, let's hit it.
February 1st, a few days later, at your department, there were members from the crime lab that came, correct?
That is correct.
And what, if anything, did they come there to do?
They were assisting the state police in executing a search warrant on a motor vehicle.
And where was that motor vehicle in relation to your department?
It was in our Sally Port.
And if you could just describe to the jury sort of what is it, Sally Port, specifically the Canton Police, like where is it located, what does it look like?
Sure, it's on the rear portion of our police department. They are large overhead doors that are numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. We only have 2 bays. So the Sally Port that the vehicle was in, typically we enter through door 4 and you would exit through door 3. Those doors, overhead doors, can only be controlled by a computer in the dispatch center. And it's where we bring in our prisoners. Once the Sally Port goes up, you enter, close the door, the area is secure. The rest of the PD is only accessible by access card, key access card.
As you mentioned, sort of the overhead garage doors are accessible only by the dispatch area, is that correct?
That is correct, a computer in the dispatch area.
And then as far as entrance from the department, how if at all is that controlled?
There is to the right of Sally Port 4, there is a key card access door.
Now, with reference to that Sally Port area, is there, what if any cameras are located in that area?
I know there's cameras in the area. I don't specifically know where they are. I typically don't look for them. I know it is under surveillance, as most of our department is.
And have you reviewed at least portion or the entirety of the Sally Port video from that particular day of February 1st?
I've seen a small portion, yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
You may approach. He's the lead guy, yep.
Do you recognize what's depicted on that particular flash drive?
Yes.
Okay, what is depicted on that, sir?
CPD Sallyport videos.
You know, I would seek to introduce.
Well, it was Brian Higgins day off.
Okay, it may be better with the lights. I'm sorry, Mr. Officer. Maybe a little bit. If we could please put the lights back on. Lieutenant Gallagher, again, from this video from approximately 9:11 in the morning, do you recognize what's up on the screen?
I do.
If you could just, using that laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to what, if anything, of significance you observed in this particular pause of this video.
This is our Sallyport. You would come in Sallyport 4, exit Sallyport 3, like I said earlier. This is the vehicle they were executing a search warrant on, and this is the crime scene tape.
And as far as personnel from the state police that were present there, who, if anyone, was present there that you knew or were aware of?
I knew Trooper Proctor was there, and I knew the criminologist was there, and a photographer. I don't know them by name.
So a couple of people from the lab, one taking photos, one criminalist, is that correct?
Correct.
As well as Trooper Proctor?
That's correct.
And do you know Trooper Proctor?
I knew of him. I don't believe I ever met him prior to this. He has worked some cases with our detectives. I knew he was assigned to the DA's office, but I'm not sure if I ever met him prior to this case.
Now, with reference to the vehicle, what, if anything, was placed around the
How did
vehicle?
you not
Did
meet
you
him?
observe around the vehicle when you saw it?
There's crime scene tape, as you can see the yellow tape right there.
The crazy
Just to
tape.
be clear, the sort of
Yeah, loves that
which
tape.
part of the vehicle is sort of in the lower foreground of this vehicle?
This is the passenger side rear of the vehicle.
Correct. Sallyport is inverted, correct, and the chat.
Now, at some point over the course of the time that you were
Denisha
there on
Rose.
February 1st, what, if any, other sort of specialized units within the state police were also present?
Eventually, I think they call it the CARS team. It's what I would call their, I guess, accident reconstruction team responded.
Now, Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to fast forward
Okay.
within that video to approximately 9:44 a.m.
Accident reconstruction. Yes, he loves the tape. Yes, I know. Danielle, I'm with you. He loves crime scene tape. Probably sleeps with it. Like a teddy bear for him, you know? Big roll of tape. No, he didn't even get his phone, Gonzo.
Yeah.
That's at least everybody in the chat saying they didn't take his phone.
Man, what's up with these cameras? Hey, Steve, pause it for a second.
Yeah, these cameras suck.
Part of the video.
Man, if I was a city official and saw this tape, I'd say
Yeah.
first order of business is let's get some damn cameras for the fucking police department.
Yeah, this is 2024, people. I mean, yeah, this is like some grainy VHS from 1982. You know, like we're ready to pull up Ghostbusters or something.
Yeah, that's horrible. I mean, pictures say a lot of things, man. That tells me that this department is bones cheap.
Yeah, they're not spending the money where they should.
That looks like a 1950s cop car over there.
Yeah, but again, the allocations of the funding come from the higher ups, and the
Yeah.
higher ups get what they want.
Yeah,
They don't really always bring
pay
the
raise.
troops what they need. Yeah, the higher ups will give themselves a new $100,000 office with Wi-Fi and surround sound and a big screen TV, and the guys on the street need gear, but they won't buy it because again, sometimes there's a big disconnect, and it gets frustrating as a road dog when you're like, hey, I need this, and this to do my job, and they're more worried about, well, I need to get higher and promote, and I need a new office, and I need a new chair, you know, whatever. So the allocation of funds is important.
Well, I think that after this case, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of upgrades coming to Canton PD.
I think we're going to see a whole new place. I hope. I really hope, and I pray that we do.
Yeah.
because they need it.
In addition to the people that you've already referenced, who, if anyone else, was in the garage at that time?
It's hard for me to say. I believe this is the criminalist. I believe if this is Trooper Proctor, this is me with the gray shirt, dress shirt walking in. That's me right there. And that's Trooper Proctor. I believe the photographer or another criminologist is here. I don't know what their title is.
Not a lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
Once we know where you are, sir, we recognize you. We know who you are.
During the execution of the search warrants, what, if any, issues did you become aware of with regard to the criminals?
They were having trouble. They were trying to remove the housing to the taillight, passenger side taillight, and they were having difficulty removing it.
And what, if any, assistance did you offer with regard to that?
I told them that we had an officer working who was in charge of our fleet maintenance and our mobile operations unit, who probably had the tools to do it, and he also had vast, extensive experience in auto body.
Who was that, sir?
That's Officer Brian Wanless.
Baby
And
J.
what, if anything, did you do with reference to Officer
What is the vintage
with
cop
regard to
car?
I asked dispatch to ask him to return at approximately, I think it was 9:50.
And Ms. Gilman, if I could ask you to, if not already there, move it up to 9:51 a.m.
What are we even supposed to be watching here? What is he showing here?
That they're trying to remove that tail light.
You mean they're trying to break it?
Break it some more.
Hey man, we need to figure out the best way to break this thing to make it look like something. What do you guys think?
I need this piece right here. Perfect. Thank you.
Just pause it for
I
a
can
moment.
totally see that. Hey guys, we need this broken. What do we need to
with
do to break
reference
it?
To this particular portion of the video, Lieutenant, if you could direct the jury's attention to when you see Officer Wanless and when you see him come over towards that area of the vehicle. And Ms. Gilman, for your purposes, what I would ask is we run this from essentially 9:51 a.m. through to about 9:58 and 30 seconds.
7 minutes. Fast forward.
I think
I mean, I hope they're doing this on fast forward.
yeah.
This is Officer Wanless right here. He examines it and he leaves momentarily.
Did he say wandless? Like he has no magic wand? Or
Yeah.
wandless?
He
Wandless?
dons a pair of gloves. And he
Gotta have your
exits, and he's
PPE.
going to come back with some tools.
His tool bag. He'll probably put some pieces of the tail light in his tool bag.
Hey guys, is this good? Okay. All right, here. Chief, you take some, and go scatter them. Scatter them at 34
comes.
Fairview.
Places his toolkit on the tailgate.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, pause and ask a question.
And from
Yeah, no, let
your
him narrate.
Video, what, if anything, do you observe Officer Wanless do with reference to that rear passenger side taillight?
He re-enters the sally port and with some tools, and he places his toolkit down on the tailgate of the Lexus.
And what, if anything, do you observe him do after that?
He begins to work on the housing of the taillight.
Ms. Gilman, if you could,
Dude, our chat should be comedians. You guys are good. Yeah, Bev is always tired. She always seems tired. Yeah, the blood in the solo cups, that's, comes in handy. You are 100% correct. Oh, wandless. Wandless. Gotcha. Thank you. Who
Juan.
was that? Wandless. Just us. Wandless. Not
Is-
wand, like magic wand. Just W-A-N, wandless. Okay.
His first name is Juan. Like he's Hispanic.
It doesn't say that. It just says wandless. I'm assuming is Officer Wanless. What his
Oh.
first name is, who knows?
Okay.
thank you, Ms. Gilman. You can take that. Lieutenant, with respect to the item that you and the other officers recovered from 34 Fairview on the 29th, the criminalist that was depicted
Brian
in that video was
Wanless.
asking you gave those items to.
I believe
There
so,
you go.
yes.
There's a lot of Brian's on that damn department,
Yes.
dude.
Hey, Brian's a damn
As far
good
as
name.
that
I'm just,
particular-
I'm a little biased, but it's okay.
I believe you testified earlier that you were looking to preserve biological matter, is that correct?
Yes,
And fair to say that your search of that area was confined to sort of where it was described to you, Mr. O'Keefe, had been found, correct?
that is correct.
Now, turning back again just to February 1st, and sorry to jump around, but back to February 1st, at some point you mentioned there was a crash reconstructionist from the state police, is that correct?
That's correct.
And what, if anything, did you aid or assist or facilitate with reference to the crash reconstructionist around the police station?
When they wanted to test the vehicle, I secured the parking lot. I advised no cruisers to return to the station, and I blocked the entryway with my marked cruiser and remained in my cruiser.
Later
Good
on,
job, sir.
On that day of February 1st, where, if anywhere, did you go with respect to the crash reconstruction?
We went to 34 Fairview.
In addition to yourself and the trooper from the crash reconstruction, who, if anyone else, went with you?
Trooper Proctor was present.
Interesting.
And, why did you go along with the troopers to that location?
Just so there was a Canton officer present. If any residents came out, I could communicate with them.
And to your knowledge, had Trooper Proctor been to the
They speak a
Fairview
different
prior to that
language?
date?
I have no knowledge if he had been there or not.
What, if anything, did you direct either Trooper Proctor or the crash reconstructionist to once you were on scene?
I brought him to the area of where Mr. O'Keefe was found.
You showed them where Mr. O'Keefe was found?
Yes.
Now, turning your attention to, well, one on scene that day with Trooper Proctor and the crash reconstructionist, what, if anything, did you observe them to be doing that day?
I believe they were discussing, they were trying to place a drone up in the air, I believe, to map out the area.
Objection.
Did you see that? Would you want me to strike the, I believe they were trying to?
That'd be our preference.
All right, so that will be
When do
stricken.
you ask-
Your observation will remain.
When do you ask him if you should strike it or not? You're the judge.
Now, with reference, if I could draw your attention to February 4th of 2022, were you working that day?
I wasn't.
And at some point, did you receive a call in regard to this case, this investigation?
I did.
And who, if anyone, called?
Chief Berkowitz.
And what, if anything, did Chief Berkowitz indicate to you?
He asked me if I was working. When I told him no, he asked who was.
And who, if anyone, did you indicate to him was working?
I told him Detective Sergeant Lank was working.
And as far as what, if anything, was that call in reference to?
He stated he was driving in the area of 34 Fairview because of the warm weather and the warm rain in the last couple of days.
And what, if anything, did he indicate?
Damn, dude, that's
believed-
fishy.
And so, just to be clear, Lieutenant, you did not go to Fairview Road on February 4th, 2022, correct?
I did not.
Yes, Kate, all
I have nothing
police
further for this.
parking lots are recorded. Yes. Where I worked, parking lot, the whole parking lot recorded, HD, 4K cameras, all the entire parking lot, and you can zoom in, yes.
Is that it?
That it? We're done with
Yeah.
him? We didn't get to see the solo cups. I wanted
No,
him
that's
to.
part two. That's part two, Brian.
Was that the end? B,
Yeah.
I was looking at G. Okay,
Yeah,
I was looking at the
that's
chat.
it.
Sorry.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So
So
what are
Brian,
the takeaways? Gee, what do we take away from this? I don't like it. You're not here for me to hit. I don't like that. I don't like that.
don't take yellow tape around Gallagher, please. He'll lock up.
Everybody for Christmas this year, let's get Lieutenant Gallagher about 100,000 rolls of tape.
So
He gets it for free. I bet you he's the kind of guy that stacked it up at his house. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet he stacked it up at his house and he's got like 50 rolls in his house right now?
Brian, let me tell you this. I'm gonna give you a little teaser here. They were taking the tail light off to get DNA or any skin or blood from that tail lamp, right?
Yeah, one hair. They
So
found one hair.
do you know?
Go
Do you know what was at the bottom of that Lexus in the brown paper bag? The red cups.
What?
You heard me.
Excuse me?
The red.
You're gonna have to repeat that. What did you just say?
Yep. Right below the Lexus was the bag with the red solo cups with blood in it. I'm telling you, brother. I'm telling you, brother. Even a blind squirrel could find a nut, man.
Come on, man. Come on. I mean, this is getting borderline like Ren and Stimpy type stuff, man. I know that's an old reference. Most people probably don't get it.
Yeah.
How stupid can we get? How stupid is this going to get?
It's shenanigans, man, from the top down, man. I'm telling you. You're right when you said earlier before, how many people have been railroaded by these cops?
Yeah, that's the first thing I would look at. I mean, Karen's set for another trial possibly in January. I don't even know how they're going to pull that off. She's not going to get a fair trial. The whole country knows about it. Most of your witnesses and key witnesses and law enforcement are screwed. They've already shown how incompetent they are. I don't even know how that's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. This case is it's absolutely disgusting.
I'm
That is how.
real curious. I'm
Right.
real curious of what's going to happen with her next trial. What angle are they going to take? Because this angle has been derailed.
Exhausted. It's exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Let's put it to bed. What are they going to come with at her new? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think it's going to make it to trial. I think they're going to call something before January before it even makes it to trial. That's
I'll
my
give you
opinion.
I'll give you 3 letters. FBI, son.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the
They-
hammer's going to come down on a lot of people because
Yeah.
this, I mean, if I was an FBI agent and I was watching this, I'd be like, stop the tape. Everybody load up. We're going to Canton because we're going to fix this shit. No, this is unacceptable police. This is like police work 101. And they couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Roll up. We're rolling out.
Rolling deep.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. We got to fix this because it's just unacceptable. As a police officer, you swore an oath to protect the city, protect the people, that includes gathering evidence, that includes anything at crime scenes. You swore an oath to do that. Now you're not doing that. You're not doing it at the best of your ability nor your capacity. So you're screwing the people over because you're not doing the job the way you were trained, the way you should do it. And we know why they're doing it the way they are, which makes it even more frustrating. You know?
Let me say this, Brian. when my brother was the very first police officer in Fremont County, not the very first one, but when he first got the job, right? I went on a ride along with him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do jack squat, right? We just rolled around the alleys because there's nothing going on in a small town, right?
Yeah, no, and
So,
I get it. Yeah.
You're not efficient at your job because you don't apply it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
This is just a lack of effort and laziness that led to this debacle.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a perishable skill, America. When like Gonzo and I we were blessed by having Metro, so we were at scenes. I mean, almost nightly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, but we're in a major scene almost nightly, if not at least once a week, minimum.
Yeah.
So you get used to it. I mean, after your 5th, 10th scene, you don't even like. I used to laugh when sergeants would get on the air and be like, "We're at a shooting," and they'd be like, "Oh, make sure you put up tape."
Done.
Are you?
Inner,
Did you just say that over the air?
It's
You
Gallagher.
got 20 of your cops
Gallagher,
here, and you're or 10-year cops, and you're telling us put tape up? Like,
it's Gallagher.
duh. That's 101 shit, man. So it just when I look at this, they don't go through that all the time like we did. So we get calloused to it, and we get so good at it because we're just going through the motions. It's muscle memory, boom, 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 boom. And they don't. And that's shame on them. And that's where you need to do training on your own time. Like the lieutenant could have came in and said, all right, guys, hey, we got a dead body. What do we do first? Like, you need to know your strengths and weaknesses of your cops. They all need to be on the same page, and they are clearly not.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you can do scenario drilling at the table all the time with your guys. You know, hey, what would you do with this? What would you do with that? And that's good training because it just makes you think. Sometimes you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but yeah, we'll
Brian,
see where this goes in January. But we're gonna do a part 2.
It's
Part
done.
2.
It's in the books. It's in producer Steve's hands.
I know, but I'm just saying, if producer Steve wants us to do a live or whatever he wants to do, part 2 is coming up.
Yeah.
Not tonight, but you know what I mean.
What do you got, Steve?
Before you guys ended, I got some bunch of super chats here, and some of them have questions.
Okay.
So I will try to read them quickly and clearly. I'm tired. I'll pop them up on screen. I don't know if you guys can see the screen.
Detective Gaddis. Detective
I
Gaddis.
think this is where we left off. Lisa gave us $10. She said, "Thank you, Cop Daddies."
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Latina.
let's go. Poppy.
$4.99. She says, "Hey guys, love how you have no fear to say what you see. Good luck to you on your new journey."
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Latina. Habla español.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we say what needs to be said when other people don't have the balls to say it, or they can't say it.
We got $5 from Zelda Kelly. If KR hit Ojo, like they said, he would not have dropped. He would have sailed and tumbled. Love you guys.
Well, let's repeat that question again.
If Karen Reed hit Officer John O'Keefe, he would not have dropped. He would have sailed and tumbled.
If it would have been a direct impact, yes. But it was a side swipe.
Yeah, it was
Right.
side swipe.
So a side swipe, he's just gonna do a little spin and maybe stagger. So
Pirouette.
it wasn't a direct impact.
Possibly
And
a pirouette.
I don't think she was going 26 miles an hour. I think her wheels are spinning 26 miles an hour, but the vehicle might have been moving 5 to 10 miles an hour because of the conditions.
Yeah, very hard to control a reverse car at 24 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Most people drive in reverse at 5.
Yeah.
All right, the Pilgrim Shadow sent us $20. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen, for continuing to fight for justice for Officer O'Keefe.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure and our duty. Honestly, now, I mean, if we know, then we need to act.
Hey, we're in it deep, buddy.
Mm-hmm. We're across the world, or across the country, but Karen's not alone.
I almost said something inappropriate, but I won't.
Oh, that's unusual. You usually just say it. This is from Bukaki's Missing Dentures.
Who?
Bukaki's Missing Dentures.
Love it.
$10. Thank you.
Nice.
Glad to have some popo on the scene with integrity. Y'all a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Again, that's Bukaki's Missing Dentures.
Nice.
Another one from Latina.
Oh, okay.
Epa, arriba, vámonos.
She sent, I put it on screen here. She sent another $10. She says Gallagher had the leaf blower in his trunk. Why is that? He did a practice run at 3 a.m. Blew all the footprints from where Albert dragged John out. He's in on it. I don't talk crap either. Ask Sean.
Yeah, good point.
Next one, D. Flannery sent us $5. Thank you.
Thank you.
She has been in Vegas during a windstorm. So much dust. Have you ever had a scene during one of those? I love your channel.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Out in the desert, it was even worse.
Yeah.
there was a dead body that we rolled out to. I don't think you were there, Brian. It was over a deep Sam 6.
Right.
And the tumbleweeds were tumbling. I'm telling you. And we had to do our best to secure that scene. And the way that we did it was we actually put vehicles around the bodies, around, I think it was like 15 to 20 feet.
Right.
To where there was no tracks that we could see, that our sergeant directed us to pull our vehicles.
Right.
And that's how we secured it in that fashion. But CSI came out and they put an actual tent around the body. So, and it took them a while to set it up.
that
They
can
had
happen.
sandbags. They had the sandbags on the tents, but they had it set up to where it was secure.
Right.
All right, we got
All right.
another one
I gotta pee.
from
We gotta end this.
What's Latina. She's got a lot to say, and we appreciate
Yes,
all the
sir.
super chats. Another $5 from her. She says Jackson's
you.
cross made him retire. LOL.
Mm.
Mm.
Julie O sent us $5.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you,
Who wa-
Julio.
Yes, thank you. Who wants to tell them the report said 32 and not 34 Fairview?
Ugh.
Good. Wrote it down wrong.
Ugh. I know.
I would believe it. I would believe it. He was probably shaking in his boots.
Yep.
We got another one from guess who?
Latina.
Latina. Another $10. She's going crazy tonight. Thank you so much. She says,
Thank you.
Can you read it, Brian? I see you getting real close.
Yeah, I'm trying to read it.
She said, it's not incompetent, it's on purpose. He was blowing away evidence from the Alberts, dragging Officer John O'Keefe out there.
Correct.
Jen
Correct.
deleted those calls also. She said they were butt dials.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I say that drone would have paid dividends.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gonna pee yourself, B?
Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. It's been 2 hours. You know me, I pee every 5 minutes. I
All right,
hydrate.
I'll read quick. No disrespect to our super chatters.
Or I can come back real quick.
Go.
I'll be right back.
Guy can't hold his water.
Yeah. What was in that water?
Exactly.
We got hopefully he can still hear. We got Banjo Bones Mama, $5.
Thank you.
Is there a membership option? Love you guys. What do you have to say about memberships? Gee, what do you think? Should we do it?
What? I've been asked a lot on our messages. We should do a membership, but I don't want. I mean, I like the idea, but I want everybody to hear what we say. I just don't want to leave it to a certain percentage. All I want to hear, I want everybody to know what we're talking about, what we're saying. But that's something that the three of us can talk about in our next board meeting and figure it out.
I will put this out there. So obviously I have all the footage. So
Yeah.
I've got the before the video starts and after the video ends and all the little bloopers in between. So I think maybe we might do a super low cost, maybe a 99-cent membership so you guys can support us and we can just put out a little bit extra, not so much that the whole rest of the audience doesn't really miss out on anything. It's just
Okay.
a couple things that are not direct videos about the cases and stuff. But that's for discussion.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that. So, but what do you guys think about that? Bloopers, maybe just a little bit extra for a super low cost. Help us run the channel. Kelly sent us $5. She said, was I the only one that didn't see red pieces of taillight blowing in white snow?
I didn't see it.
Everything was blowing around.
Yeah.
That
I
had
didn't
to have
see
been
any.
there at that time. Clown faces.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
Here's a big one from Sand and Sea, $20.
Wow. Thank you.
Sand and Sea.
I think it's supposed to be a statement was made that Colin was not in the house when John O'Keefe was in the house. The statement was made by a dark-haired young lady.
Yeah, but we know Colin was in the house when John was in the house.
Yeah, I think the script was Colin wasn't in the house.
Right, the script was. Yeah, he was never mentioned in any reports. And all the preliminary investigation, Colin was never meant to be in the house. They were protecting him. But he was in the house.
I just watched his video on him, and man, he was trained up real good by his family. And yeah.
Fighting?
No. I'm talking about what to say on the stand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. They were definitely coached. Jen, all of them. All of them were coached.
I don't recall is what he said. I don't remember that was his main
Yeah.
statement.
Normal people don't say that. They just say,
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember. It's cops. Like it's funny because now even being retired, I'll be like, hey, what's your date of birth?
Yeah.
Nobody says that. Nobody in their right mind ever asked you what's your date of birth. They don't. They
Yeah.
say, what's your birthday?
Yeah.
Only cops say, what's your date of birth?
Yeah.
So it's the little things. If you listen, you're like, did you just ask me my date of birth?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why didn't you just
Yeah.
ask me my birthday, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one from AKA the Cat Lady. Another $5 from her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cat Lady.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. The Sallyport videos were tampered with to make it darker. This is
Oh,
intentional, just like inverting the other video.
Right.
the damn
makes
guys are
sense.
tricky.
It makes sense. Yeah, it
So
makes sense.
Maybe their cameras are better than we think they are.
Maybe they are. They could be onto something. Yeah.
And B, you kept saying it's 2024, but these videos aren't from 2024. But it wasn't that long ago.
Well, it was 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, it
All
wasn't
right,
Flintstones. It wasn't Bedrock.
we got a big one from Patty Murphy, $20.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Say.
She says, did we lose G there? Yes. She says, I really hope you guys review Lewis, the Canton IT guy.
Ooh.
He's so bleeping shady. Has access to all town electronics and cameras.
Really?
Let me
I've never heard of Lewis.
Neither have I. I think we need to check him out. But
we
there's
need to look into
there's a person in the chat. I think it's a CR. She's in Idaho right now. I want to ask her what part of Idaho she's in. So we'll see if she
Okay.
says on her chat.
Okay.
All right. The next one is Derek. Excuse me. This is a good one. People will pay you not to do Lally doing direct examinations. Chat will pay cop daddies to not hear Lally's voice.
I will mute him every time he comes up.
Yeah,
Well,
he
you can't
is.
hear him anyway.
Yeah,
I could barely hear him. I'm like trying to do the volume in here and I gave up.
He's so monotone, dude.
He is. He's nothing like Jackson, man.
Julio sent us $5. She says it was like Reno 911.
Oh, right.
Thank you, Julio. And yes, I agree. If anything, Reno 911 is better than this. I'm gonna stick to that.
Well, they
It's
got
better
better.
than
They had better writers.
this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Leah Baker
Yeah.
sent us $10. But what happened with the jury? Bev and Lally confused them. They literally thought Arca was paid by TB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We heard that.
That's. I don't understand why they didn't make that abundantly clear when he testified. I don't know how there was confusion. And as a juror, if anybody in our chat or anybody in America gets called as a juror, go. It's fun. You never know what case you're going to get. But if you don't know something, ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions because this should have been clarified from the beginning. I don't know how that.
I don't think they wanted them to know that the FBI was involved because that could
Probably not.
change their decision.
Probably not. You're probably right.
All right. Aussie Daisy sent us $2 Australian. I've never been to Australia, so I'm not sure if it's dollars. I assume it's got
That
the
means
dollars
like
on
we
it.
got $20, man.
I do like Craig Jones though.
Another 200. She said,
Great point,
good day, LV Cup Daddies.
Good eye.
Good day. Good day. Good day.
Good eye.
Wallaby down
Another one.
under.
Sorry, another one from Julio, $5. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
24 miles per hour out of her parents' driveway to load on tow truck. Barely any snow at midnight, but lots when they took her vehicle, which equals spinning
Correct.
tires. And there went my cat. He was bugging me the whole time.
Laura J. Hey, let me say this. Laura J. Brian's working on a video for us to do for Tellus. So that will be coming out pretty soon.
Yes. And that's going to show, it's going to really show the difference between how Metro does things and how Canton does things.
These super chats are going crazy. We thank you guys so much. We got
Thank
another
you.
one. QDU Journal. sent us 10, and I know they've also sent us coffees. So thank you for the 10 and the coffees.
Thank you.
They say I'm late for the party, but never left out.
There you go.
You never left out.
Okay, so
No,
this next one is Sarah Spence. She sent us $50,
wow.
and there's no question or anything. So just straight to the point. Here's
Hey.
$50.
Okay, no,
Thank
no.
you.
We're gonna take that $50, put it on the roulette table, and double it for her.
Oh,
No,
you're
we're
gonna
not.
send it back?
Yeah.
Should double it and say she gave us $100.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't gamble. You lose. You
Uh,
always lose. Vegas wasn't built on
If
winners.
you lose,
Trust me.
you still owe us the money. All right. Zelda Kelly, again with $5. Thank you, Zelda.
Thank you, Zelda.
I think sus that both Birchmore and Officer John O'Keefe were planned during a blizzard. Too many crossover cops comparing notes.
It was around the same time.
Leah Baker, and I hope I'm not boring everyone else with these, but again, these are super important to us, and we want to make sure we address your questions and comments. So, for those that are sticking around, thank you. Leah Baker sent $5. She said, memberships do not stop anyone from listening unless you do a members only stream.
Oh, okay.
We talked about member stuff when you left, Brian.
Somebody wiser than me.
Yeah, we don't do members only streams. Nah. I like to do everything for everybody.
That's what I said.
Period. That's the way it should be.
That's
You
what I
know,
said.
it's not about the money. It's about the message. So
Freedom of
yeah,
speech.
yeah, we do it for everybody.
Michelle Lee, 1023, sent us $10. Thank you guys. Much love
Thank
here from here in Massachusetts.
Thank you, Michelle Lee. We appreciate it.
Sand and Sea once again with $5. The main points was she stated that O'Keefe was in the house.
That again?
Who stated?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. It just says the main points was that she stated that O'Keefe was in the house. I'm not sure if they're going back to the
To Jen?
Karen Reed.
Karen. Well, Karen, I thought was Karen said he was in the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen said he wasn't, and then everybody else said he wasn't. But we know he was in the house. His phone, yeah, he was in the house. There's no doubt. Plus, how's he getting dog bites? How did he get dog bites on his right bicep and tricep if he wasn't in the house?
And forearm,
yeah,
too.
forearm. Yeah.
Yep.
So he was in that house. They're lying.
And we've also got another one from Stephanie. Do you have a way to communicate with you? Emails.
Producer Steve runs them. Producer Steve.
Yep.
Yeah, ask at LVCopsTV.com.
Yep. Ask at LVCopsTV.com.
And I put that on the screen, but I don't have that prepared. I'm sorry. And I think
He's slacking.
that's it. Yep, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm
Appreciate
going to
it.
let you guys close out. So
Yeah.
see you on the other side.
We can't thank you enough for everything you guys do for us. And in case you don't know this, doing YouTube is like another full-time job. And G and I both were retired. We both work full-time. And then we still like getting our message out, and we still like helping people and making a difference. And that's why we do the YouTube. But the money helps because we do a lot of work. I mean, really about 20 hours of man work goes into a 2-hour video. So it's a lot of work. So you don't go unappreciated at all. And that's why G and I feel like it's not an obligation, but I feel like it's our duty to answer you guys in the comments. Because if you're going to take time to write it, I should take time as the creator to read it. And we do. We read everyone. As you guys see, I think we're probably one of the only channels on YouTube where we actually respond to each and every comment because it's important to us. We want you guys to feel included, right? We don't want you to feel like you're outsiders and like, oh, this is just another channel. No, we try to include everybody because we are like a family, and family's got to stick together, just like Jen McCabe says, right, Jen?
Yeah. And if you ever get a text message from LV Cops and it's misspelled, it's from me.
Correct. You'll know when we answer you because if it's got the B, it's me. If it's a G, it's Gonzo, and if it's an S, it's Steve. So,
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for watching. We couldn't do this without you, and we wouldn't do this without you. And it means the world to us. It really
Yeah.
does.
It does.
Gonzo, you got anything?
No, dude, you said everything. And, you know, it's like I was saying with the memberships, we want to give everybody the opportunity to hear what we have to say. So that's why members only now that's explained to me. I get it now, but you know, Steve's going to put something together and we're going to talk about it in our next board meeting. Give us.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Yeah, if we do anything that's paid, it would be like for back behind the scenes where
The bloopers and stuff.
bloopers, cursing, all that stuff that you
Yeah.
can't put on YouTube. Sometimes we say how we really feel. Actually, you never know what we're gonna say. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything's we don't have scripts at all ever. We just wing it, and that's just what we do. That's what I'm comfortable. That's
We
what I'm
winged it for
comfortable with.
we winged it for 20 years, B.
Yeah, and that to me that makes it more exciting. You just because you never know what's gonna happen. So scripts get boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you're writing them like Proctor and Gallagher and all them, and it's a crappy
Man,
script.
the curveballs keep coming, don't they?
Dude, this might be a movie or a TV show or a movie someday.
Well, Karen should have all the rights to it. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Every bit should go to her, 100%.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody, we're gonna bail out. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching.
And for those who are still serving and watching, stay safe out there.
Make a difference in someone's life. Stay classy, Las Vegas.
Always.
Peace. So how